There we go. We're on. So, yeah, I think it'd be good. You know, I don't know if you want to dedicate the time to it or not, but I'd like it if we start doing a regular show every once in a while broadcast. And put it on YouTube or something. Of course, but YouTube...
Shoot mines.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, YouTube's been in a lot of trouble lately. There's a lot of people doing class action suits and stuff like this. And a lot of people are moving their platforms to Stitcher and Radio Influence and other places that are not YouTube, so they can do their broadcast and, you know, exercise their First Amendment right. Because, you know, a lot of those places, YouTube and Twitter, this is all the complaints. Is that people get deplatformed if they don't have, well, they call it hate speech. And you know what hate speech is? Anything that's not liberal.
Yeah.
Because other people talk about actually committing acts of violence to conservatives, even if it's like throwing, you know, we need to milkshake all conservatives so they will not go out and voice their opinion. And it's like, well, okay, anybody that, you know, I remember making a big deal about it when Alex Jones got kicked off of YouTube. And there was one particular guy that said, good, conservatives don't have anything good to say anyway. And there was me and a couple other people that said, guess what? You're going to be next. This is part of the deal. If we don't have a First Amendment, we don't have anything. And that's the whole idea, is being able to stand up and voice another opinion. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. But it's amazing to me that
the same people who once said about Howard Stern, they said the exact same thing about Howard Stern. If you don't like it, change the channel.
Yeah, you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to.
Now that everyone has a chance to voice their opinion and not just perverts like Howard Stern, now that conservatives have the chance to voice their opinion, all of a sudden that opinion changes. Well, you know, that opinion's too dangerous to be heard by people. That opinion shouldn't be heard. I think a lot of people misunderstand the concept of the First Amendment. I think they misunderstand it. I think a lot of people think that the First Amendment means you have the ability to yell and scream and pound your fist on the ground and say, wah, wah, gimme, gimme, I can have what I want. I think a lot of people don't understand that the First Amendment is particularly concocted to allow uncomfortable speech. Things that make you uncomfortable are allowed to be said. And I think that it was George Orwell who's quoted with saying that liberty is best defined as being able to, telling somebody what they don't want to hear, or something to that effect. I can't remember how he puts it, but, you know.
Well, it's pretty clear. It's amazing to me that it comes from liberals.
That's what I mean. It's
liberals wanting to...
The same people who once said, no, you can't censor people, you can't censor Howard Stern, you can't censor Jerry Springer. They have a First Amendment right.
Right? And who was the guy that had that, the Hustler magazine? Larry Flint.
You remember that name quick.
Anyway...
moving on past that.
Yeah, there was a big, huge thing, and it's like, no, he's got a First Amendment right to publish dirty pictures.
Yeah, that went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, it did, and he won. However, and and these other people, they'll win too. But here's the deal: these people, do you have a platform? Is it a platform? Because there's different rules if you have a platform, or if you have, I forget what the other word is.
Publisher.
If you're a publisher. Now, if you're editing people, and if you're
a publisher.
Yeah, then you're a publisher. And that makes you
liable.
Responsible. You're liable for everybody's...
for all their speech.
For everybody. So,
right.
But these guys are acting like publishers, they say.
Yep.
That's the argument that's coming up to court.
Yep.
But... it'll be a while before it gets there, because they're going to throw a whole bunch of roadblocks in. They know that they're going to lose. And but
Yeah, they're going to try to drag it out past the 2020 election in the hopes that they can unseat Donald Trump.
exactly. And I think that's kind of, they can't win an argument in the court of public opinion. So they're
So that's why they're silencing the public's opinion.
Exactly. Exactly. So it really seems pretty clear. Now, I don't see how that could work, because it was the internet, it was those people, the Alex Jones listeners and others like them. Alex Jones kind of a one-of-a-kind guy, but
well, there's already legal precedents to suggest that Twitter doesn't have the ability to silence people. Donald Trump blocked... Donald Trump's a genius, by the way. So years ago, he blocked people on Twitter, and then they sued, and a judge ruled, hey, man, Donald Trump, you can't block people on Twitter. It's a public forum, and therefore people have the right to see what you have to say. And I think that all those leftists who jumped up and down and said, ha-ha, we got him! We got Donald Trump! I think they don't realize till now they've shot themselves in the foot, because now there's legal precedents to suggest that Twitter is, in fact, an open forum. It is a public forum for public discourse.
they need to start acting like a public forum then, instead of a publisher. Because they're acting like a publisher when they go in there and cut people off because they don't like their political opinion, or they say something like Ilham Omar, whatever her name is. Those the two people that are
Talib and Omar.
Yeah, they hate Jews and stuff like that. And so they say, no, these people hate Jews, and they're like, oh, you can't say that. And so they take them off. Well, but they do hate Jews, and they do say that stuff. They quote them and stuff like this. So they can say hateful things about an entire race of people, but if you call them out for saying stuff about an entire race of people, you get deplatformed instead of them. So, they're going to lose, but like you said, they're just trying to win the 2020 election.
Yeah,
but it's not going to work, and here's why I think it's not going to work, is because the people that like Donald Trump, they're already not listening to the TV news or the Washington Post. They're listening to Epoch News, Epic News, whatever you call it, and other internet-based things. And so when their favorite internet guy gets, everybody knows that they're saying, hey, make sure that you hit the bell, because they're de-belling people that are subscribing to my channel. And so people already know. And so they already know what's going on. And so it's not going to work, in my opinion. And plus, Donald Trump is enormously popular. They keep publishing lies. Like, he goes to UK, and there's this huge field of people that are pro-Trump, and they say, look, this is all the people that hate Trump. Well, they were there too, but they weren't in the numbers of the pro-Trump people. Just look at what he does in the United States. And so,
well, think of it like this, right?
He has these enormous rallies, rallies, and they're getting bigger, not smaller. And the thing is, people who were skeptical of Trump before and didn't vote for him are now voting for him. People like the Walkaway movement, the Blexit,
Brexit movement?
Blaxit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not remembering her name right now. Candace Owens, thank you. So there's a ton of people, plus a whole bunch of other people who had given up, like me. I completely had given up on the United States of America. I was a Trump supporter, but I was not registered to vote. I was a Trump supporter because the alternative was Hillary, and I cut my teeth on the Clintons back in the 90s. So I wasn't going to have nothing to do with Clintons, even though, but then Trump wins. I think he's going to win with like 400 electoral college votes this time, I think. Maybe that's stretching it a bit.
I told people back before Donald Trump, it might have been actually right about the time he got elected. It was years ago, I can't really remember. But I told people, he'll be the next Reagan. He'll have more electoral college votes the second time. And that hasn't happened since Reagan. And you watch, that's what's going to happen. People are going to be blown away by the level of support Donald Trump will have during his re-election campaign. I won't be blown away, I understand.
Well, a lot of people are like, hey, Trump is not doing anything about the illegal voting and that sort of stuff. And, well, you know, Trump is like one man. He can assign people to do stuff. But guess what? They are busting people for voter fraud. They are busting people for voter fraud. You don't see it on mainstream media, that's for sure. Not that I'm on mainstream media at all. I do like listening to John Solomon, and I wish Hannity would shut up and let John Solomon talk, or Sarah Carter. You shut up, Hannity. Let those guys talk. But anyway.
Well, you know, Fox News, as much as people like Fox News, they're still gatekeepers.
Yes, they are, absolutely.
And they definitely push a narrative that is not necessarily 100% MAGA narrative. And, you know, this is what people do not understand. You know, poison is not, you don't ingest poison. You know, you feed someone food with poison in it.
90% good food and 10% poison.
That's right.
And it gets the job done.
And that is Fox News.
And, of course, you know, then there's voter suppression, which, you know, okay, yeah, what is voter suppression? You know, okay, yeah. Well, guess what voter suppression is? And that is when you got Fox News saying, California has gone to the Democrats. Again, this is the midterm. When we had an hour and a half still of voting going on in California. And they're already calling it Fox News.
Yeah, you know, I know it sounds bad, but it's like, in all honesty, I don't disagree. Because here's one of the problems you have. California is rife with voting fraud. Right after Trump got elected, he even said, all right, Federal Election Commission.
Hang on, here's my wife.